It's good afternoon, A M Jaxon. Thank you for joining us at Yellow Shelf.
Thanks, Joanne. Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. Congratulations. Your book has been out a couple of weeks now.
Yes.
Your book is called Saoirse's Story. Tell us all about it. What do we need to know about this book that is a romance, suspense. Tell us all about it.
Yes. Well, it's one of those things where it's got all the connections and all the different types of love. And one of the main things is, I guess it's easy to say in a soundbite, is that it blends the sort of complex but fun-loving stuff of Love Actually, but without Christmas.
Okay.
But there's the intensity and secrets that you get in real life of say Big Little Lies. So it's a combination of those two. I started writing it when I had written my first three books. I wanted to expand my voice and try different characters so that I could see if I could write different characters. So they all can't sound the same and be the same. So some are a bit duller and some are brighter. And then I found I wanted to go through all the different types of love. So I had these short stories with all different versions of love, including fixation and toxicity, and then there was sort of the old loves and the rekindled. And I thought I could put them in a book, but I'm like one of those people. Oh, that's too easy. So I tied it together with a character called Saoirse. Um, an interesting name because people hopefully will talk about how do you say that name because it's Irish. It's got every vowel in it except one.
Yeah.
So I then started stringing them together and came up with Saoirse's story. And so she's the common thread and all the people that she comes through in her life. And she's not fully formed. She's quite young when she leaves Ireland. And so she wants to find it's it's easy to say people want to find themselves, but she's a small country town. You want to find more in life and find out where you can kind of fit. So that's what she's trying to do. And she meets all these different people who, for the want of another word, kind of bend and dint her a bit so that she then is starting to form who she really is. And that's Saoirse's story.
And AM, do you want to tell us about? I'd love to hear a bit about you, your journey, and then what inspired you to start writing. You mentioned you had other books, so
Yes.
tell us what we need to know about you as an author and your journey.
Well, I like so I formed this kind of romantic suspense genre, which I loved writing about, I love reading about. And for me, the challenge is to give them all twists. So that in all of the little stories in Saoirse, there's a twist.
Mhm.
But there's this overall kind of simmering shadow that's following her. And so I wanted to write basically to challenge myself and see if I could make something complex, but easy enough to read because it's got to be something that people want to read about. So I started basically because I had studied, I was doing a PhD, and my supervisor said to me famously, I don't want this to read like a suspense novel. I need all the facts up front, then your argument. And it kind of stuck with me. I don't know why. And I was like, you know what, when I'm over and sick of this, I'm going to write some suspense and some
Mhm.
romantic novels. And that's what I've done. So that's where I've started. I'm up to my seventh now.
Wow.
But Saoirse's the one, thanks to the lovely Hembry books, that I've finally got out there and published. So the
Yeah.
others are just the first three are self-published. They're quite raw. It's a
Yeah.
trilogy. But yeah, so that's where I've evolved from. And just sort of basically kind of a grey background, and now I'm letting all the uh,
Yeah.
stuff come out. My PhD supervisor also said to me once I finished was that then she'd read some of my stories that she said, you're like a kid that's been let loose in a candy store now. So I would just everything out there and all
Yeah.
crazy ideas, kind of put them down into words.
Yeah. And it's good to know the journey, self-publishing now to a publishing, and
Yes.
yeah, I
Oh,
think
it's
yeah,
so heartfelt because you get rejection after rejection,
yeah,
and I know there's the J.K. Rowling story, and it really does make you stronger. But that's you have your days where you go, because it's
Gotcha.
incredibly on your own. Yeah. Why
Yeah.
am I doing this? So,
Yeah. And
but
Alison, leading on from Saoirse's story now, there's going to be more books in the series. Is that right?
yeah, so she comes through. We finish up with her in this book happily for now, and then her journey still continues. And so that comes into the next book that'll be out mid-May called Joshua's Story. And you start off with him, and I mean they're set in Australia, but they're traveling, so they end up in different places, not only in Australia but overseas, and main places London and New York. And so then Joshua's story will come through and he'll thread through some characters. And of course, he'll meet up with Saoirse. And then there'll be the final kind of showdown at the end.
Nice.
And the thing with these characters is so there's each character in each story. I have written kind of shorter novellas for their backstory to get into the characters. So if I get a following and if people want to, then I can vote on which character they want next, and they can put out a story on them. So
Oh, how clever.
for some of them really grip me, and certainly there's one in the second book with Josh that her character just took me. And I know people say that they do that, and I had never thought they would.
Yeah.
But characters do take you and grip you, and then you want to find out more, and you're the person creating it. And
Yeah.
some of them, he or she will speak to me off the page, and they'll do something, and I'll go, wow, that was unexpected. But you know what? That's better. So
Yeah.
and yeah, that's what I love. And I guess with these books, there's enough steam in them to put a few bit of fog on your windows,
Yeah.
and there's enough scare factor where you will want to turn the page, hopefully, and get engrossed in the character that you might burn dinner, or you stay awake too late at night and you have a book hangover the next morning to try and find out what's going on. So
Yeah.
hopefully that is what the readers see in it.
Yeah. Well, look, I'd love to get you back when Joshua's story comes out later in
Yeah,
the
sure.
year. We'll have to pin you down for that one. AM, tell us about that piece of how do we follow you? How do we connect with you? I know you've got a fabulous website. I will put all this information you're about to give in the show notes.
Yeah, so yeah, if people want to buy the book, it's free postage. They can go to amjaxon.com,
Yep.
the website, and buy it there. They can pre-order Josh. Otherwise, it's available on all the normal platforms. Excuse me. It's on Amazon. It's also any ebook platform, Google, Apple, Amazon, Kindle. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's out there. Just waiting for you to come and find out about her.
Yeah, well, look, I'm going to make it really easy for people to connect. What about if
Thank
we want
you.
to follow you? Are you on any of the socials, Instagram, Facebook as well?
All of them, yes. So they can
Okay.
follow me on Instagram, I am Jaxon. There's also X, Twitter,
Yeah.
Facebook. There's lots of stuff where the kind of some of the other parts of me come out
Yeah.
and come out to play, I guess. Some of
Yeah.
the things that my editor might shake her head at. But
Uh,
yeah,
no
it's all
worries.
there. So
Oh,
yeah,
fabulous.
Instagram and all of them.
I'll make it
Oh, and
really,
it's Jackson with an X.
yeah. Well, look, I'll make sure that's all correct so people, know to go to the right place. Thank you for joining us.
Thank
Somehow I think
you.
we're going to talk later in the year. Was
I hope so. Yeah.
yeah, awesome.
Thanks.
Good
Thanks,
luck with the
Joanna.
book. Thank you.
Bye.